Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning. Oh, I get to be Rob today. I was Rob.
There we go.
You're Rob for a minute.
We were ready for her. She wasn't ready for us. Busy week this week. Everybody, I just want to, if you haven't been on this live podcast, we got Brian Hogman here from Mission 35 Mortgages. Great mortgage, great presentation you did the other day. We'll talk about a little bit about Conrad Zarini, broker, amazing broker, Remax, Startman, Remax Niagara, and myself, everybody, Rob Golfi here. Guys, busy week for Conrad this week, especially.
Yeah.
I want to congratulate you, Conrad. I couldn't believe it. Distinguished entrepreneur in Chamber of Commerce in Berlin. There's some big, heavy names that you're attached with up there. Hey?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, you know what? I'm looking at the list. You know, like Michael Lee Chin, Paletta,
Ron Foxcroft doing the
Ron Foxcroft
too.
That was yeah. Oh my God.
Ron Joyce.
Yeah.
Buddy, I'm telling you,
Murray Hogarth, yeah.
I think the only thing that's next for you is a brass statue of you.
An Oscar. I'll get an Oscar.
With the scarf. With the scarf.
Yeah.
But you know what? That was a great event. And
Thanks for
being
there.
Supporters of yourself there. It was actually pretty good. I saw a lot of people I haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And you know, and the one thing is, you know, now when you go to these events, like we don't see realtors like we used to. Remember the old days?
Oh yeah.
You do a deal, then you say, "Hey, let's go for a drink and put a deal together," or coffee or whatever. And you see each other, but now you just see each other at events. Nobody.
That's it. Yeah.
Belly to belly.
How about the kitchen table? Yeah, the kitchen table. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
where you go and present your case and everything. That's like and that's not that long ago.
No.
That is not that long ago. I think what brought that in? The millennials. The millennials kind of took over and switched things up on us.
And the pandemic, I think, accelerated it, right? I think it just made it more,
Yeah. So now, I couldn't believe it. So you did a great. I love how you answered the questions and great speaking up there, Conrad. You know what? You got to keep speaking out there. You also, both of you guys spoke at the event, Win in Any Market, at that we had in on Locust Lane there, winery. You guys did a fantastic job. If you didn't, if you're a realtor, you didn't attend this event, we will have it out on video, and you'll be able to see it. We're just putting it together now. Hopefully by the end of next week, mid next week, we'll have it all together. But you guys,
Rob, kudos to you for that event.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob, because I really because I didn't know how the whole agenda was going to go, but a big kudos to you because you had your team up there answering questions, and you really lifted up the curtain. You know, Conrad brought that out.
Yeah.
And not many people do that, and especially in a public forum, especially when you're on billboards and everybody knows your name and sees you. Most people are worried about keeping that secrecy, but it really shows your abundant mentality. And for you to go on stage afterwards too, like you had 175 people there, right? And
like it was crazy.
You had the Ask Me Anything, and I remember I was sitting there going like, man, it was really good because you were you were really transparent with that, and I hats off to you, man. It was really good.
Yeah, you and your team did an amazing job. Well, you and your team did an amazing job, flawless, and people could see the genuineness of everybody and yourself and the panel. Look, it did so much. You did so much for the industry that day. You have no idea. Amazing.
Yeah, it was.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But I just got to say thank you so much. You guys were awesome speakers. I'm telling you, we can't change that format because you guys just, you know what? Brian, you were incredible. I love, how you kid around, and Conrad, you guys have humor in your presentation, which makes it really, you listen to it. You know what I mean? It's not like with your stats, throwing the numbers out there, and it's just, I was intrigued on it. I know the numbers, but I was like focused and listening and everything. So, and that room was quiet when you guys, they were listening.
Well, I know with Conrad, when you do it, it's when you're passionate about it, we love it. Like I think all of us, all three of us, we love it. We're nerds, like in our respective business. We love it. I know Conrad and it's like when you get that opportunity to share, because I think the values are all the same. Where you all want to help, right? Like everybody wants to help. Yeah. So
we're going to do another one probably sometime third week of January, and we'll have it at a little larger place. We still want to keep it cozy because it's hard to tell. We had a huge, what do you call it? People registered like within the first 2 days. We start promoting it, and we're almost at full capacity at this place that we're having it. So we had to be a little easy in pushing it. But on the next one, we're going to push aggressively more. So and maybe we'll get 200 to 300 people in there. But it was good. I have to give kudos to Holly. Holly Chris, she did a fantastic job. She's an amazing at what she does, and she put all that together. So that's awesome. She organized everything, and she was good speaking up there. She was like,
she did great.
Awesome.
She did a great job.
So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about now. I thought I read someplace they're going to get rid of what do you call it? Exclusive listings. Is that something I was looking for that article, Conrad? Like, tell me what?
Actually, CREA sent out a notice that they're going to be polling realtors on this whole exclusive listing piece, and it's amazing to me because exclusive listings offer choice to the consumer. As a matter of fact, there's talk of people talking to our licensing body, which is the Real Estate Council of Ontario. And Rico's saying, we know nothing even about this. Like, we don't know anything, but we'll listen. If there's something here, if there's an issue, like, tell us and we'll look at it. But I think this is a matter of, and the barrier to entry to real estate is very low. That's, I'm not selling anything out of school. Let's pull the curtain. A lot of people get their license. People don't treat this as a real profession. They're doing 1 or 2 deals a year. Those people, they control the ear of our national organization, and they're saying, like, we don't like this exclusive listing thing. We want everything on the MLS and blah, blah, blah. We're being shut out. So, you know what? Some consumers maybe want to test the market, give them options. I think it's all about giving options. And I think CREA is afraid of, there's different platforms coming, guys. And I know we as a company are creating a platform called Real iBuyer, where it's going to be a new platform where people will be able to actually test the market on a smaller scale to see if there is interest in their home instead of putting their home on the MLS and long drawn out affair. So yeah, they're concerned and they're seeing these other models coming, and this is their answer to it.
Wow. Yeah. You know what? And I know there's positives and negatives about the exclusive, and I know the coming, and they're talking about coming soon too, right? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
And the only reason there's coming soons out there, it's actually pressure from the consumer, because they're saying, well, let's put a coming soon sign. Okay, we'll put the coming soon sign. And I get the coming soon sign. I think that's a good thing. But as long as you let nobody in the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't show the house, because you have the coming soon say, hey, listen, on this day this thing's coming up, and it doesn't get, it's not going to get sold prior. But that has happened a few times. Now the other part about that on the coming soon sign is, if you do let somebody in, this is where the mind game plays. And this happened. I get an agent, come on, just let me in, let me get my client in. Well, listen, we're not really supposed to let anybody in until after it's on MLS. They go in, they submit an offer, it's $50,000 above asking, and now you go to your client and say, what do you want to do? And you don't want to say not to do it, because if you go MLS, it doesn't happen. You don't get an offer. You're going to be messed up there. They're going to blame you, or you don't know if you're going to get more. And chances are, if the guy's willing to pay $50,000 more before it hits MLS, there's a high probability it is going to go a lot higher than the asking price. But I had that happen to me, and I hate that. I hate that, because you want it to go MLS. Yes, because know you're going to get the world to see it, and then you either set a date for offers or not, but you will get maximum exposure on it. And I get it. It works both ways. Sometimes some people don't want to have the sign. They don't want the they don't want their neighbors to know that they're for sale or whatever, or anybody.
Yeah.
So I get it. And there's a lot of people like that out there.
So my question for Brian is, Brian, do you feel that underwriters look at a sale that was done exclusively a little different than if it was done on the MLS? That's my question.
That's a great question. And absolutely. And it's almost like, because that's where major fraud occurs, unfortunately. So a lot of times, like, so number one, if you have a property that is not MLS listed, I would say almost 99% of the time, it's a trigger for an automatic appraisal. Because now, why didn't it go to market? What's inside? I don't have pictures inside. So it definitely makes a lender. Now we still finance them all the time, right? Like, because I would say majority of them are legit. But for most lenders, that's a tipping point for fraud. Why didn't it go to the market? What's wrong with this property? So we're going to appraise it, right? Yeah. So, and then the other one that's on that too is if you have one that's not listed with a quick closing date, right? Why is it not listed with a quick closing date? Because lenders like to take their time. You don't want to be pressured on things. You need time to do their due diligence. So again, it can happen, but you want to make sure that you have the time in place there. And it will, I would say 99 out of 100 times will get appraised fully, because that's how they're substantiating the market value, because it actually didn't go to market.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So I get it. There is a lot of fraud. And I remember there was a lot of fraud in the late 80s or when I remember I sold a property. It was on Chatham Street, and the guy that bought it, and I sold it privately. Okay, he came, and I had another property for sale. And I says, I'll put this property for sale. So I had one listed with a realtor, and then I was kind of listing another one around the corner, trying to save. I was that guy who was trying to save commissions, but anyway, forget it. It was a bad move. It was a bad move.
Yeah.
So anyway, I did sell it, but this guy, after, I have the RCMP calling me, I think a year later or longer, I can't remember, wanting to know who this guy is. And I remember him telling me he owned another property, and they're saying, well, which is that other property? Like they were tracking this guy down. This guy did a lot of fraudulent things, buying properties in it was probably that one I sold. I think it was January of 1990. The market didn't crash yet. I think the market crashed around April, May in 1990. So the market
you're right. It was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like March-ish. Yeah. Some people say March 23rd. That's what they say. But yeah, you're right. March, April. Yeah.
And I remember I got pretty good money for it. And that was a private deal. And for some reason, I'm not sure what he did on his end of the deal. I had the purchase price, a purchase agreement, sent it to the lawyers. Everything all closed, fine and dandy. But he must have did something on his end with something to do with paperwork or mortgage fraud. I think
in those cases too, that's one of the reasons, because like back in the day, like that used to be a big way to launder money, right? By putting down payments down. And that's why, today there's so much verification with down payment. I think even isn't that coming on FinTrack soon too, right? Like where you have to do verification down payment. Yep. And that's something we've been doing for years. And I remember, 10, 15 years ago, it was, you need to show it in a bank account. Now you need to show 30 days history. Now you need to show 90 days history. It's a big thing, right? Making sure that it is validated as where it comes from. And it's for reasons like that, where if you don't verify, where's the money come from? Right.
Yeah. No kidding. When's the last time you got a cash deposit? Anybody? It's gotta be at least 5-10 years, Conrad?
Yeah, but we get the odd one, believe it or not. Yeah, we're getting, 5,000, 10,000, like $9,999. Wow, that's weird.
They don't track everything under 10,000. They don't report or anything like that.
Some lenders are even doing 5 now. Like some lenders even look like if it's outside of the regular.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if it's outside of the regular transaction, like if your regular pay was $4,500. Right. And they see a 5 or 6. So a lot, they're getting really good. And you know what? AI is coming into this stuff too, where it's really cool stuff, because they can spot any anomalies now in bank accounts. Right. Okay. Which is, well, the good news on that side, it's making our job, not yet, but it's going to make our job a lot easier, because you guys know how much paperwork us mortgage brokers like to ask for. The good news when that comes into play it'll be a lot easier to vet everything. You know what I mean? Like you'll just be able to log in and get it vetted. So I'm secretly excited when that comes to get things moving quicker. So
can you see fraud right away, Brian, when something's coming, mortgage is coming towards you, and the guy's not really being above board with his information?
Well, you know what the big red flag is when they cut out letters from the newspaper and they put it on the paper and say, Brian works here. Those ones, I spot those from a mile away.
Gotcha.
But fraud is, you know what happens? Fraud is so good now. Lenders will call us sometimes or a mortgage broker and say, we can't proceed with this deal and we can't tell you why.
Why? Yeah.
Yeah. And you're just like, and I understand why, but you're like, and that's how good it is. Cause you're like, holy shit, I got a pay stub. I got everything looks good, but they've got such good stuff right now. And the reason why they don't tell you why is because they don't want to know, they don't want to let the industry know what they know, which I respect, but it's like, I think it's really hard to do now.
So basically you just tell the guy, sorry, they're not doing it. Obviously the next person you go to, insurer, they're going to say no too.
Like if someone tells me that, I'm like, hey, listen. And you know what the funny thing is that when someone tells, like if someone tells our company, because we've had this happen to an agent, someone says no, and they say, listen, the lender shuts you down. They won't tell me why. Why don't you tell me why? You know what they say? Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Like
the skeletons came out of the closet for that guy.
Yeah, you're like, So
well, they either work for like some payroll service, right, or they're a home care worker, right, that they make some phony website, or like a hardwood floor distributor. So if you see those jobs, you know they're fake.
It's hard these days. I tell you, no, to be honest, Rob, it is really hard to see. Like it is really hard to see today. People have
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, I appreciate everything. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and thanks for being on. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, Rob.
Bye, guys.